Nick went down.
Yes,
Unbelievable.
yes, that's actually.
And is now OOP, as they say in dog racing, out of picture in terms of the college football championship. There would be almost no way that these committee people, even if they bring back Condoleezza Rice and she accepted the bribe from Jose Sulaiman, there would seem to be no way that you could somehow work Alabama back in the equation. Is there with 2 losses? And possibility that they would have 4 losses on the season. Well, you can't say that because they won those games. And your man Jimbo, what's he on? Like a 9-game losing streak? That's unbelievable. Jimbo Fisher.
I don't know how much they've lost in a row. They have not played well the entire year. Like, and Jimbo, like they're talking, his buyouts like $50 million, and they're considering it. Like that's how bad this is.
Imagine that, $50 million they're going to give this cat to fail.
Go.
Wow. Did we all make some bad career choices? We should have just been failing college football coaches.
The time.
Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
Welcome one and all to another edition of the Defo Show with Lubie. No Defo, just Lubie. Here on South Florida Live. We have a busy day ahead for you, and I don't say that lightly because literally 2 things that we do separately on entire days will be featured today. We will have one and only Dave Gurggles Gergely joining us at about 7:30, maybe a little bit shy of that, to do some trivia fun, as we will have the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge coming your way. We will also have Tony Segreto, that man, Tony Segreto, kicking it old school, brought to you by Texas Roadhouse and Catholic Health Services, joining us a little after 8 o'clock. So got a lot coming your way, got a lot on my plate, your plate. The Deep Man is doing well in Atlantic City. Today is the last day of his stint up there. He will be rejoining all of us, I'm sure, to your happiness and joy. Tomorrow, he will be here for a Degenerate Friday. Was not going to miss a Degenerate Friday. He hates missing Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge Thursday. We couldn't get back in time for that, but he will cap off the week with a Degenerate Friday tomorrow. So stay tuned to that. We'll have all of our handicappers, and I think they did pretty well this week. I know they had some struggles the last couple of weeks, but they did pretty well this past week in all their football plays. And you had a big night last night in Miami. It's funny. I'm wearing the Marlins shirt. People are like, Marlins, who are the Marlins? Yeah. One of the worst franchise in all of American or North American sports. Pretty much a disaster. But last night was a big night for Sandy Alcantara. And it's funny to me, like the way that they pitched it. Like when a guy won the Cy Young, like he deserved it. And he won it running away. I mean, there were plenty of pitchers that had really good years. And he won it running away. He had a great ERA, was great with strikeouts, great with whip. And he had a great ERA. He had a great ERA, great strikeouts, great whip, and he had led the league in complete games. He doubled the second person. And on top of that, like every start went 8 or 9. Like it wasn't like he was 6 and then had 3. He was like 8 or 9. He was like 7 or 8 innings every start and had 6 complete games in an era where great pitchers will go entire seasons without 1 complete game. So Sandy Alcantara wins the Marlins for Cy Young, and I love how they pitch it. Workhorse pitcher. Like, no, it wasn't a workhorse. Like when DeGrom wins it with a 10-8 record, he's not a workhorse. And I get it. DeGrom's great. Well, so was Sandy Alcantara. Sandy Alcantara the last 3 years has been one of the best pitchers in baseball. Sandy Alcantara last year was the best pitcher in baseball. Verlander in the AL was tremendous. Sandy Alcantara was ridiculous. He got no run support. Like the other guys that were up there were all guys that got a lot of runs, got a lot of help, and that pushed their record higher. A pitcher for the Marlins who were abysmal. Literally, their manager's gone right when the season ends. Their president leaves in the middle of the season. Their GM has sort of been shown to have no idea what she's doing. And I know Kim Ng knows baseball, but if you watch the Marlins moves before her, during her, not good. None of their, like the trades haven't done anything. Like the 2 people she signed last year, the big contracts, Soler, and I'm trying to remember the other person, were miserable. They were horrible. And those were her moves. She went out, spent money. The Marlins never spent. She spent money. Didn't come high enough for Marte. He stays He's with the Mets. He has a good year. They go and they get look. Soler was the World Series MVP for the Braves the year before. Wonderful. Comes to the Marlins, he was trash. That was her signing. That's her move. So, and they've had his injuries. It hasn't been good under her tenure. They weren't good before her tenure. True, but they haven't been good since her tenure either. So we'll see what Carolyn O'Connor, the new president, can do, and we'll see what can bring together the first duo of women to run an American, possibly North American professional sports franchise. We'll see. But at least some light shined down on the Marlins and South Florida last night as the Marlins have their first Cy Young. It is funny that out of all the great pitchers the Marlins have had, and they've won 2 World Series, and they've had some seasons that were pretty exciting. Last year was abysmal. Last year was dreadful. And it's their first Cy Young in almost 30 years. So good for the Fish. They now have a Cy Young winner. Sandy Alcantara had a tremendous year. He's the one guy I'll give them credit that they're holding on too tight. They did re-sign him. They did give him a good deal. He is happy to be here. There is no talk of him going anywhere. So at least they have someone that is a linchpin, someone that they're not trading him. He is someone that they actually are building, because they never are building, but building, quote unquote, their franchise around. Problem is they can't trade or draft for position players. I mean, Blade, Payne Burdick, the first baseman, I can't remember his name, was just sent down for reassignment. I mean, normally it wouldn't be Kinning. I mean, normally he would be on the trading block, but he's the one guy that they're holding on to. Literally every position player, Jazz Chisholm, they traded for, actually became a star and then missed all of last year. So who knows what the hell he'll be after his injury. They're a disaster. And the young rotation that was supposed to be super fun, every single guy was hurt except for Alcantara. So at least they have one guy to build around. He did want a Cy Young, so good for Sandy Alcantara. He wasn't a workhorse. I mean, the dude was freaking great. Like, he was lights out. He would have had a better ERA. When you know you're getting no help, it puts more pressure on you. Like, it's not like, well, he should have done more. He did. He knew he had to go 8 or 9 innings every game in 2022 when most guys go 5 or 6, and he knew if he got 1 run, that was going to be what he got. So just think, his ERA was 2.28. Where could it have been if he knew he could just go and throw? He would have been in the ones. Like, there was actually a lot of really high ERAs this year, but the Alcantara and also young Justin Verlander, his comeback. How many comebacks has Justin Verlander had? Like, first of all, is he in his 60s? Like, how old is Justin Verlander? And this is like, he completes his comeback. What is this? Can you have 3 comebacks? Like, if you're coming back your 3rd time, is it still a comeback? Like, if every other year you're gone and then the next year, 2 years later, you're great, isn't that just who you are? Isn't that just a trend? Like, I one comeback, I get it, but like, can you have 3? Because Justin Verlander's been great, great, and I think 3 or 4 times now. But it is his 3rd Cy Young. He is going to go down as one of the great pitchers in Major League Baseball history. Been a part of championships, been a part of championship contenders. So American League Cy Young, Justin Verlander. National League Cy Young, Sandy Alcantara. Now, I know many of you are like, what is this Cy Young? This is for a sport called baseball. I know Jim Sarney would give me crap that he just assumes everyone knows women's lacrosse in northern Idaho. No, that's actually most sports fans that I come across watch 2 sports. Not soccer. I know soccer. No, soccer's big in Atlanta, Seattle. I don't even think New York and DC was big when the MLS started. I don't even think it's big in those places anymore. Like, in America, soccer's big in like 4 cities. And I don't care. If you notice all the money that was pumped into soccer, who talks about soccer? Who? The World Cup's here. The World Cup's Sunday. We'll magically, for a month, everyone will be into soccer for a month. When there's no World Cup, and I know the EPL is a big deal, and I know Bundesliga, and they talk about it, pretend like it's big. It's not big here. It's not. I'm telling you, everyone I know in my life, male-wise, is a sports fan of some kind, talk no soccer. None. 0. They talk 0 soccer. And I get it. Well, just because they don't know, I mean, I don't want to talk to the wind. I have no problem talking to the wind. I do it all the time. But here, we want to like encapsulate things people give a shit about. Soccer ain't it. Let alone volleyball in northern Maine. That's just not. And what sucks is baseball's gotten there. Like, it's like NHL or NASCAR. Yeah, they have their fans. They will survive, but it isn't a mainstream thing. Like sport, whether you like sports or not, whether you like ESPN or not, they are a place. People will say they disseminate and then you follow. I don't know. Believe me, being in a business where they're very reactionary, it's the opposite. The numbers they look at are what you want. You tell them what they're going to program. Like, well, we just want to talk about this. No, they'll talk about anything. They don't give a shit. Believe me, they sold because of you people. They got a huge contract with UFC right before it became useless and no one gave a shit about UFC anymore. But because they paid money, because it was popular at the time, they pound UFC. You think ESPN gives a shit about UFC? No. What it is it was the growing new thing in like the 2000s. And then with Ronda Rousey and then Conor McGregor, it looked like it was going to explode. And then both of them weren't good at fighting. They were phonies. So it fell and no one cares about UFC anymore. So if you notice, they will push it because they have a contract. But other than that, how often do they talk? Baseball is barely talked about and hockey is barely talked about. What do they talk about? The NBA and the NFL. Is that great? I don't know. I grew up a huge, well-rounded sports fan. And I say grew up because it actually lasted until my college years. But from my mid-20s to now, it's really NFL's become a monster. College football is weirdly enough has become more popular. College football got into a place where it was regional. It's really not that regional anymore. Like you can talk about college football almost like the NFL. The NFL is just a juggernaut. College football is not far from the NFL. College football has become under the Saban era because he became that like Dallas Cowboys of the 90s and the San Francisco 49ers of the 80s and the Broncos of the late 90s. Like he became that the Bulls of the early 90s, the Lakers and Celtics of the 80s. Like he made USC in the early 2000s, but really Saban with the 2010s became that powerhouse that you could either love or hate. And that's really, it's funny. We don't like dominant in sports, but we do. Dominant, good morning, my friend. Good morning, all. I appreciate everyone. It's hard to chat and talk. So I will get to you guys in the break. But do appreciate everyone who joins in, who watches, who finds us, and who chats. The chat, that's one thing we didn't have when we were on the radio, and we always wanted, and it's really cool to be able to, in real time, communicate. People don't want to call anymore. People don't have time to call, but you guys will text, and that means a lot to us. We really appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching me, and thank you so much for commenting and giving us your thoughts, good or bad. Even the guy who told me, good job, Lubie, for not talking. Well, this week you must have hated this week because as a host, you sort of have to talk. I still appreciate the comment. I may bite back a little bit because to me, if you're going to throw, you should catch. So anyways, but yeah, Saban made Bama this powerhouse that you could either love or hate. And it really, I think, brought up college football's popularity, And then on top of that, you have a little bit of parity and it's made a little bit more of a national sport. NFL juggernaut. NBA has been big and it's settled in there. But baseball, I mean, no one cares. Like, and that was before it got to this level of boring. It was always a little boring, a little slow. But, if you were a real fan, if you had grown up with it like me, you could watch a game. I'm telling you right now, I haven't been able to. Well, yeah, it should be Hialeah. I'll get to it. I don't watch games. Like, I didn't watch. This was the first. I used to at least watch a little bit of the playoffs, a little bit of the World Series. Years ago, I would watch all the playoffs and all the World Series. I didn't watch 1 minute. When I'm at my trivias and it was on the TV, yeah, okay, I'd keep an eye on it. I knew who was winning, I knew who was losing. We are doing this, so I have to have an understanding of what's going on. I'm telling you right now, I didn't watch any of the playoff baseball. And it's not, you just don't love. No, I love baseball. Was our first love. The first sport I played with my father was baseball. The first sport I went to was baseball. I didn't learn how to dribble a basketball until I was 6. I was catching and throwing a baseball at 1. Like baseball was the sport. I'm from South Florida. Like we had, it doesn't exist now, but we had half or nearly half the exhibition games were down here. Like we didn't have the Marlins, but we had spring training. Spring training was a friggin' monster when I was growing up. I mean, between the Expos and the Orioles, Yankees. Like, and if you wanted to travel a little bit, you had the Dodgers. Like it was nuts. Spring training. We killed when I was growing up. Spring training was a huge deal. Like we loved spring training. Like I have my strongest memories are at 3 and 4 years old at spring training. So I love baseball, but It's just a different day. Yeah, exactly. No, I was never good at it. I sucked at baseball. I was really good at football and okay at basketball. I sucked at baseball, but I still loved it. But like it just and it's been in concert with what the game's done. Like I was able to still stomach it until like 3 or 4 years ago. And if you notice, the last 40 years, baseball's just changed. The analytics have not taken it over; they've ruined it. Analytics are involved, statistics are involved in every sport. The fact that they ride the statistics so much that you don't get pitching gems anymore, and you don't get pitching matchups because if you know the guy's out by the 5th or 6th inning, then who gives a shit? When you would have Maddox versus freaking Randy Johnson, and you would have Pedro Martinez versus Kurt Schilling, like they weren't always on the same team. So when you would have these matchups like Tom Glavine versus Mike Mussina, like when you would get these pitching matchups, it was gold. Like you could have 1-0 and be riveted to the end of your seat. Like you didn't have to have tons of runs because the pitchers were dominant. But if a pitcher's getting taken out in the 5th inning, like who gives a shit? If pitchers have no hitters and only 90-something pitches and they're getting yanked, like it's totally ruined the game in that regard. And then the hitting, they don't steal bases at all. Or death of having an out. God forbid there's an out. Someone's thrown out. Even though that's the only excitement is someone running because there's a lot of standing in baseball. They making contact, which was the first thing I learned. Make contact, put the ball in play. They don't want that now. They want a home run or a walk, and they don't give a shit if you strike out. Like it's just different. And I'm not trying to be old man bitching. I'm saying for the Sarnies out there, they're like, well, you don't talk enough. Who am I talking to? No one watches. Like New York, yeah, Boston, Chicago, LA. Even Atlanta, where they're good. I don't know how much they talk freaking baseball. Like, it's just different. But Alcantara did win the Cy Young. Yay, Marlins. And it was an interesting night last night. The Heat go down. They didn't have Bam or Tyler Hero. They were in it until like the 3rd quarter, and then the Raptors sort of pulled away. Raptors are a playoff team, and the Heat missing 2 of their top 3 guys. So it was sort of figured it was going to happen. Tonight you get Thursday Night Football. The Titans in their 6-3 record leading the AFC South. And you have the Packers, who are coming on after a big win versus the Dallas Cowboys. So they're 4-6. A lot of other things I'm sure we will get to here on the show. But coming up now, we will have the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. And later we will have Kickin' It Old School with Tony Segreto, brought to you by Texas Roadhouse and Catholic Health Services. Defo is not here, but the man, the myth, the legend himself, the one, the only, Dave Gurggles Gergely joins me now. And I will say good morning to you, Gurgs. How you doing?
Morning, Mike. Doing well. Congratulations to our Cy Young Award winner.
There you go.
Can you get the volume? You hear me?
I hear you fine. No,
you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear.
Oh, okay. And what was the name of the Toronto Blue Jay guy that was a finalist in the American League?
Oh, God, that's a great question.
Was it Alec Mowry? Does that sound familiar?
For you. Let's see. This is great radio, by the way. I don't know. I'll look it up. I know Mr. Verlander's our Cy Young winner.
Verlander won it, and it's a guy probably 6'5", about 240 from Toronto, a young guy, 23 from South Florida roots. I think that was one of the finalists. I thought a radio expert like you would know, but
Alec Manoah. Well,
he just bought a house on our golf course.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I met him the other day. Sunday he was out here playing, or Saturday, and I was out. The beverage cart girl was late, so I took some beverages out to our members. He goes, "Hey, can you take an order for me?" I said, "Well, you're on the 8th hole. The next hole right there, you can go in the pro shop and buy some." Later on, a guy introduced me and said, "Hey, you know who this guy is?" And yeah, a real nice young man. I think he's South Florida originally. I don't know where. But he bought a nice house on our golf course. He's out here playing golf.
Nice.
So it's good to see him. And El Duque, of course, is a member here. We see him all the time. He looks great for a guy that's 2 years older than Defo. So he really looks good. So Defo's going to Atlantic City, right?
He's there now, and he actually will be back today, and he'll be on with me tomorrow. He left Monday.
Okay, because in the 70s, when I went to college at Rider in New Jersey, all of our conferences for the major distributive education I was in were at Atlantic City, but they were in the dead of winter. And you talk about a depressing town in the dead of winter, Atlantic City. Wow. But I'm sure they won't be depressed when the Mustang hits for 10 large. I'm rooting for them.
There you go. I think they've done okay. I know he did a little bit of sports wagering because he was contacting the professor, and he Monday night he actually had the Commanders on the money line, getting 11.
Good.
So he did good there.
Wow.
And
so that must have been getting 11.
Was
probably
4
was
to 1,
5 to 1, 4 to 1.
He got around 4 to 1. I think he got around 4 to 1. Tuesday, the professor gave him great plays, but being Defo, the horse player, instead of just playing them straight up and at least winning 2 of 3 or 3 of 4, he went the other way and parlayed them together like a dumbass, which is what he tends to do. And it's why the professor hates giving him picks, because he ruins them every time. And he ended up parlaying them. And instead of going 2 and 2 and going 500, he lost the bet because I think 2-1 and 2 loss. So that was a default.
Gotcha.
I don't know what he did yesterday, but I think he's done okay. I think he's done all right. And he'll be back tomorrow. We will be doing some trivia challenge action. So if you want to give us a call, and I'll get the number up, 954-417-0070, 954-417-0070. Before we take a break and get into your trivia fun, how are things with you outside of meeting? And that he had a season. I didn't realize he had a great year. Verlander wasn't such a freaking monster. He might have actually won the Cy Young. Like Manoa. What's going on with you? What's going on at the golf course?
Well, of course, I'm a Phillies guy, so my Phillies got knocked out. The Eagles are no longer undefeated, but that's the best thing that could happen to the Eagles. They weren't going to go undefeated, so now they can just play football, and not worry about a thing. And I see Andrews says that's amazing that I went to college on the chat line here. And people don't know this, but Andrew did his undergrad at a music college, Sing Sing. So that's But yeah, we're busy. I have a meeting tomorrow afternoon. Our Larry Little tournament is coming up December 3rd, and that'll be 30 foursomes, and then each foursome gets a celebrity, and there'll probably be between 10 and 15 Hall of Famers playing in that event.
Oh, wow.
It's a real fun event out here. And the Canadians have arrived, thank goodness. French Canadians, and all Canadians get a bad rap in South Florida because on the golf course, they are the most respectful golfers you'd ever want to meet.
Really?
Following rules, replacing divots, everything they need to do. Now, whether they tip when you buy a bottle of water, I don't know. That's another matter. I don't worry about that. Yeah.
People loves to mock them for their driving and tipping. I'm like, I don't know.
They're fine. They are fine. They're a big boon to our economy as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
So great. And I didn't realize there's some big golfers. I never thought, I guess you don't see a lot of golf.
Oh, huge golfers. Yep.
You have to come down here for the golf. Well, we welcome you, Canadians. We may make fun of you. It's out of love. We appreciate your patronage, and they definitely do down there with Gurgs. All right. So what kind of game do we have today? Are you going to be killing our players? What do you got going on?
I've got a mix of very current and very nostalgic questions, if you will. So I'm ready for the boys today.
We love
You're ready for tonight for Landlubbers?
Always. I'll be there at 6:30. It's not impossible. Look, people get greedy. Like they win a lot in a row and they expect to just keep winning. No, then that's boring. Like, what is the point of doing? It's called a competition. Like the point is to have a lot of people having a chance and to have interest. And the Chronics are always in there, and they always bitch, and I appreciate it. That means we're doing something just like here. If they're complaining, we're doing something right.
Well, I think what the people are missing the point, and haven't been to Landlubbers just about 3 or 4 times to watch it, you're getting a night out with entertainment. I mean, you're getting great food, great service, really good prices, and you're being entertained for free. There's no cover charge, there's no entry fee, and you get these brain-stumping questions. And if you get them, great. And if you don't, you're having an entertaining night out. So that's the way people should look at it. Not just thinking about winning the prize at the end. It is a fun night. I mean, I was amazed how entertaining it is. It's really, really good.
When the professor puts it's like you with your question. They're not. The point is to not be able to just Google it. Right? Like the point is to be able to have to think and put a team together and work and have fun. I know we're in this era where we just sit here doing this the whole time. The point is to not look at this. The point is to be here, be present, and have a good time. I know, shocking. So that's the point. If you notice, even when the questions are tougher, they're fun. Like there's something behind it. You have to actually think a little bit. So Ken does a really good job with that.
the key to every good trivia question, and Professor, you do it well, is when you hear the answer, you don't go, huh? You go, oh, I should have known that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
the key to it, by all means. I got a couple that are today, but that's okay. I'll save them for Lenny.
All right. Well, when we get back, we're going to kick off this edition of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Hialeah Park. Look, what else can we say? Defo laments every time he's up there in Atlantic City and not at Hialeah Park. We're actually both very jealous of Gurgs because he's within a few minutes driving distance of Hialeah Park, or we'd be there we'd be there a lot more often. But it is worth the drive. They got you from everything. You actually know you have a shot to win, which say a lot for a casino. And on top of that, like Dave talked about with our trivia, it's just fun. They really do a good. I'm not going to lament any casinos by name down here, but there's some places that you go in there and you're just like, you do your thing, you're in your zone. There, whether Gurg sometimes wants to do his own thing, wants to be a part of the group, they cover both angles, and the vibe is there's electricity there. You can just feel it. There really, truly is nothing like Hialeah Park, and I know Gurgs, you've been going down there for years, and I know you still go down there regularly.
Yeah, Hialeah Park. I made my first trip there in 1971.
Wow.
On spring break in a Volkswagen bus with a couple other degenerates down from Rider College in New Jersey. And when I drove through those big trees and everything, I said, man, this is heaven right here. And now it combines the nostalgia with the brand new. You walk in, you can see pictures of Woody Stevens. You can see pictures of Tommy Roberts, who broadcast, and then you see the flamingos fly, and then you go inside, and there's a brand new casino, brand new Champion Sports Bar. You can bet simulcasting. You can go over to the casino. You can play poker, like Defo's son is becoming quite good at. It's got everything. And most casinos know that once you're there, well, they're going to get you on food and beverage. Hialeah Park's the opposite. Great food and beverage at very reasonable prices. Yeah, it's a great place to go.
When we were there with the Derby there, and we watched the fight, and Ken ordered a couple of drinks, and I went to go pay. He's like, no, like as though like Lubie, I'm the one with the money. And then they said the price. I'm like, I could afford that. I'm like,
that's saying something with you. Yeah, well done.
I'm Mr. Cheap. So when I was like, oh, here, I got it. I got to feel big. Hialeah Park will make you feel big, make you feel like a big mocker, as we say. Coming up next, a man who'll make you feel small, Dave Gurggles Gergely. And this week's edition of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. We'll be right back with the first contestant right here on the Defo Show with the Lubie. No Defo, but Dave Gurggles Gergely, Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge.
Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. Since day one, Catholic Health Services has been part of Old School. And since we've started letting people know about them, it's changed their lives. You see, Catholic Health Services, while being recognized as one of the top places for stroke rehab in the country, it's also about a group of people who not just excel in what they do, from the doctors to the nurses to the therapist, on and on and on. It's how they do what they do every single day that separates them from the pack. They do it with a passion, unmatched, and the inclusion of family in every step of the process. Trust me when I tell you this. If you want the best, unmatched rehab with a special group of skilled, caring people, there is truly only one place, and that one place is Catholic Health Services.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubber's Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Oh, Solo Volante will be coming late. Oh, Solo Volante, the Belmont's now 1.8 miles. The finish line is coming up quick. Luca Panici just switched the stick.
The only way to get your morning started with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Dave Gurggles Gergely joins me. We're going to get right to the fun. Appreciate everyone who already wants to get in on it. I am a one-man band, so I will get back to you. Stand by. Appreciate your interest in today's trivia challenge. We will kick it off right here in our traditional fashion in honor of the man. We did talk to him, by the way. We talked to him last Friday, Gurgs.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I'm going to try and have him on every Thursday in that that first intermediary time before we go to trivia until we figure out the computer.
Oh, good.
Because he can do phones. So I missed hearing the three of you. I used to love just laying out and letting the three of you do. So we will start having him back. And people keep asking. It's scary when because for not you, they never ask you, thank God. They know you're traveling with the shipper or whatever. But whenever Paulie Man and Defo aren't around, they're always like, oh my God, are they still with us? It's like, yes, they're still with us. So it's like, I want people to realize he's alive. He sounded great, so we'll get Paulie Man back on these Thursdays and then we'll get him back integrated into the trivia. We're going to go right now, though, to some
Easy Baseball.
Yes, sir.
This baseball funny man, on one of his many appearances on the Johnny Carson show, in an exchange when Johnny asked him what was the highlight of his career, he said, well, Johnny, in 1962, I was the minor league player of the year. When Carson said, that's great, he responded with, well, the problem was it was my second season in the big leagues. What's that? The one and only Bob Uecker, Bob Barker, Fess Parker, or Fess Up?
Uecker, it's great. All right, here we go, the Trivia Scrambler. The one and only Ron joins us. Good morning, Ron.
Morning, fellas. Let's go with A.
Yes, sir.
Well done, Ron. All right, Ron, football. True or false? Believe it or not, when the Dolphins went to see President Obama to celebrate the 72 undefeated Dolphins, which will go on again since my Eagles got beat, Vern Den Herder was not able to make the trip because he's a farmer and it was harvest season and he had crops to attend to. True or false?
Oh, jeez. It's coming right for you.
Let's go true.
That is true.
True.
And he was a farmer out in Iowa and could not make the trip.
You, Ron. Nice. Your three-pointer.
All right, Ron. Let's go to NBA basketball. John Giddey of the Oklahoma City Thunder, in his second ever appearance at Madison Square Garden, had a triple-double. In fact, he had a triple-double in his first time playing at the Garden. He's only the second player in NBA history to have a triple-double in his first two appearances at Madison Square Garden. Which one of the following was the first? Elgin Baylor, Isaiah Thomas, Rick Barry, or Wilt Chamberlain?
Let's go Rick Barry.
I would have said that too, but it was my man, Wilt the Stilt from Kansas and Overbrook High School.
All right, your 5-point question to set a strong pace at 7 there, Ron.
All right, Ron. Let's do this one. Baseball. Ralph Kiner, the beloved host of Defo's Kiner's Corner and the Mets broadcaster, broke in as a slugger with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Then he played for the Cubs. With what American League team did he end his career? The Tigers, the Orioles, the White Sox, or the Indians?
Let's go Tigers.
No, it was the formerly team known as the Cleveland Indians in 1955.
Nice playing, Ron. We appreciate it. You may be in the finals. We'll see. Thanks for joining me.
Some new and some old there.
There you go. All right. Before we move on to our next contestant, so I can get them on the line, a place that is near and dear to Dave Gurggles Gergely's heart, and a place and a people that do really care about their clients and they really do a great job. And if you're going to be on the golf course, Canada, from the islands, from Europe, it always is a great component.
Stop right there.
What?
You must be talking about Perdomo cigars.
Yes.
Yes. You don't need ESP to know that one, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, Perdomo Cigars. I went to see him yesterday, as a matter of fact. Congratulations to Nick. That's Nick Jr. and his lovely wife, Lauren. They're expecting a little baby. But there it is at the Maldives, as a matter of fact. Me smoking a great Lot 23. You don't have to go to the Maldives to get a Perdomo cigar. You can get them at 5150 Northwest 167th Street on the Palmetto on the south side, a little bit east of the Home Depot. They're open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. You want to call them? 305-627-6700, the number to call. And go in there. Donald right up front will lead you to the humidor that our late great friend, the Mad Dog, built. Pick out the cigars you like. They make them perfect one at a time, whether it's a Connecticut wrapper, a Maduro wrapper, a Robusto, or a Churchill. They're perfect cigars grown in Nicaragua with Cuban seed tobacco. Perdomo Cigars, one of the finest cigars you'll ever smoke. With the holiday season coming up, you want a gift? You can go in there and buy a humidor for somebody, buy a box of cigars, or just buy a nice little variety pack of cigars. Perdomo Cigars, the finest cigar you'll ever smoke. So today, tomorrow, this weekend, put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigars.
Ready, and we have our next contestant ready to go. Ron right there, sort of flamed out with 2. We'll see if this gentleman can do a little bit better. And we go right back to Dave Gurggles Gergely.
Didn't you say gentleman? Yeah, okay. A
Gentleman,
little bit of a misnomer.
It's okay. It's really nice.
All right. Golf. This commentator on an extremely errant tee shot said, that ball is so far left.
How far was it?
How far left was it?
How far left?
It was so far left that Lassie couldn't find it if it was wrapped in bacon. What's that? David Faraday, David Copperfield, Paul Warfield, or Paul Massell?
Oh, Paul Massell. Lord, your scrambler. And we are joined by the one, the only, Lenny the Chronic. Good morning, Lenny.
All right. Good morning, guys. That'll be a.
Good morning, Lenny. How are you, my friend? All right.
Good, buddy.
All right, Lenny. This is one that we don't get asked about much, but we're going to include this. Fencing. I know that's one of the hobbies of yours, Lenny.
His favorite.
Believe it or not, Barbara Jo Rubin, a sophomore star of USC's fencing team, has made a little over $500,000 with her image, name, and likeness on the social media post she made, which includes sportswear sponsors. True or false?
I'm going to say false.
That is false. Barbara Jo Rubin was the first female jockey ever to ride at Hialeah Park, but that's okay. Well done, Lenny. You sniffed it out.
I figured she was a friend of yours or something.
I don't have any friends, Lenny. Don't start with that. Okay.
You got a friend with the Chronics.
He definitely has a friend.
All right. We appreciate that.
Got
All right, Lenny. Three-point question.
Yes.
Football. Our own Dolphins radio broadcaster, Jimmy Cephalo, believe it or not, was also a game show host at one time, hosting a sports game show called Snapshots. And what other game show? 7 Keys, Treasure Hunt, Video Village, or Trump Card?
Let's go with Treasure Hunt.
No, that was hosted by Jan Murray. It was Trump Card.
All righty, this is your 5-pointer. Take the lead there, Chronic Man.
All right, Lenny, let's give you. I know you're an ABA fan, so we'll have to give you ABA. All right, which of the following players never missed the playoffs in his 15-year combined ABA and NBA career? Never missed them. Dan Mitchell, Sven Nader, Billy Paltz, or Rick Barry?
I think it's Billy Paltz, the Whopper.
Wow.
The Whopper, 6'11", with the Nets, the San Antonio Spurs, the Houston Rockets, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Utah Jazz. Well done, Lenny.
Hang around. You probably will be in the finals. All right? We'll give you a call back. Thanks.
No, we might lose his number.
Well, while I get on the next contestant, and we're going to have a bridge version today. So we'll probably play one more person, go to a break, come back, and do the finals. I know that Gurgs is depressed about that. I do want I do want again to talk a little bit about Hialeah Park. I know you've been going there since '71, which is amazing. But what's cool to me is, and you said it, is and it's what you do with the trivia. They mix the nostalgia with modern. You get the games, the table games, the food, the prices, the food of today, and you get the prices of yesterday. What are some things you're looking forward to coming up, and maybe heading out to Hialeah Park for?
Well, I mean, obviously, what you've got is the simulcasting. You can go there today. Aqueduct's running. Churchill Downs is running. I think Gulfstream starts tomorrow. Next week, this Friday, the Fairgrounds opens up. Next week, Tampa Bay Downs, a local favorite, opens up. And also, I think Friday, December 1st will be Larry Little's party, or the 2nd. Friday the 2nd will be Larry Little's party out there for his event, and that's always a great show as well. So Hialeah Park, hop, skip, and jump from wherever you are. If you're not a horse player, go to the casino. They're open till 2 in the morning, I think, and then Friday and Saturday open till 5 in the morning. They open around 9 or 10 in the morning. Go in there, get a nice breakfast. The machines are pretty loose, as Defo would say, and the Mustang knows that. Get a player's card. By all means, that's where you get your rewards at Hialeah Park. So right off the Palmetto Expressway, very easy to get to off the 74th Street exit. Or if you're traveling on 95, you can take 79th Street West and run right into beautiful Hialeah. Very secure, very good lighting. There's no worries at all at Hialeah Park. People in the old days said, oh, Hialeah's in a bad area. Not at all. It's in a great area, as a matter of fact. So go out to Hialeah Park and just enjoy the day.
All righty. We will play either our last or next to last contestant right now. And again, I turn it over to the great Dave Gurggles Gergely.
All right, NFL football. This comedian, during one of Monday Night Football appearances about the Lions team, Detroit's team is so bad this year.
How bad are they?
They might lose during the bye week. What's that? Dennis Miller, Barney Miller, Mitch Miller, or Miller Huggins?
All righty. Let's see who we got going here. Is our third contestant this week on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Mike. Good morning, Mike. How you doing?
Excellent, sir. Good morning. Hey,
good man.
All right, football, Mike, true or false? 2 weeks ago when the Eagles played the Steelers, Eagles coach Nick Sirianni said during his post-game press conference that the family he invited, including his mom's cousin, who was a Steeler fan, actually wore a Pittsburgh jersey to the game, but he didn't allow him anywhere near the sidelines like the rest of the invited family. True or false?
oh, that's true.
That is true.
Good job,
Well done.
Mike. Okay. All right. I need some competition. You got 2, Mike. This is your 3-pointer.
All right, Mike, this is a little bit long, so listen closely. Being perfect after your 6 first games in the NFL has treated teams well since 2007, as 10 of the 11 teams, 90% to start 6-0, have made the playoffs. 6 have advanced to the conference finals. 4 made it all the way to the Super Bowl. Only one team who started 6-0 from 2007 to now, during that period, won the Super Bowl. Which of the following was it? New Orleans Saints, New England Patriots, Denver Broncos, or St. Louis Rams?
St. Louis.
Mike, what would your guess be?
I was going to say the Broncos.
Well, you'd both be wrong. New Orleans Saints, as a matter of fact.
It was the Saints. Dang it. Good job. All right, Mike, you got 2 points. This is your 5-pointer to tie and land and get yourself in that finals.
All right, Mike, let's see what we can do for you there. We got a baseball question for you, and this is one of my favorites. This date in history is really memorable. September 30th, 1963. The San Francisco Giants, with the outfield of Felipe Alou, Matty Alou, and Willie Mays, went ahead of their opponent, pulled Willie Mays, and put Jesus Alou in the outfield, making it all 3 of the Alou brothers playing in the outfield at the same time. What was the team they were that far ahead of that they allowed to take Willie Mays out of the game? Was it the Phillies, the Dodgers, the Cubs, or the Pirates?
Oh, God.
Cub.
No, that would have been a great guess, too. It was the Pittsburgh Pirates when all the Lou brothers played at the same time.
All right, we'll scramble up, see who will play Lenny, as Mike and Ron have a tie. Oh, shocker. Ron is going to hate us even more. It's Mike. Mike's in the finals. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the finals. We will be pitting Mike against Lenny here on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Appreciate everyone joining us again. Later on after 8 o'clock, we will have Kickin' It Old School with Tony Segreto, brought to you by Texas Roadhouse and Catholic Health Services. And when we get back on this edition, and we close out this edition of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge with Dave Gurggles Gergely, we're going to have our finals once again, pinning Mr. 7 Points, Lenny, against the tied 2-point Mike, right here on the Defo Show with Lubie. No Defo, just Gergs on South Florida Live.
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs unmatched. Steaks hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
I got in about 2 a.m. last night. Do I look like Lubie? Good morning, by the way.
You look
Do I
good.
like I need a cut, man?
You look good. I'm proud of you. You're like ready. You're on time. All the guys there didn't have to stress out waiting for you. Look at you. A new day.
I'm a professional. There's no question about it. And I don't like to lose a job on the first day of the job.
That'd be good.
Which is ugly. Because we already lost one job, and we got fired by Fox. And in fact, you and I, Lubie, are the only starters that were ever beaten out for a job by Brady Quinn. If you can kind of wrap your arms around that concept.
Double bagel and a schmear, plus some Defo and Lubie. Welcome back to the Defo Show.
That is probably very true. And what also is true is we have our final set on this edition of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Again, coming up in a little over 10 minutes, we will have the one and the only, another great man in the world of broadcasting, Tony Segreto, will be joining us. Thank you to Texas Roadhouse Catholic Health Services. Right now, our finals is set. We have Lenny. We have Mike. We are playing for a Landlubber $25 gift certificate to be used as soon as you have a chance to get out there. And I turn it over to Mr. Finals himself, Dave Gurggles Gergely.
Good luck, Mike. Good luck, Lenny. All right, here we go. Let's bring it a little more current. NFL football. The Minnesota Vikings this year have 3 fourth-quarter comebacks after entering the fourth quarter down double digits. The last team to accomplish this feat occurred in 2011, and it was whom? Anybody? All right, here's your choices.
No.
Was it the San Diego Chargers, the Detroit Lions, the Chicago Bears, or the Philadelphia Eagles?
Lenny.
Okay.
Detroit Lions.
Oh, you're annoying.
Now, the second part of the question is, what were the final scores of those games? I'm only kidding.
We know
only
that.
kidding. All right.
We love you guys. Thank you for playing, and we will talk to you guys soon. Have a great weekend, guys. All right, Lenny's
Look, that
done.
was a tough one.
Congratulations. I thought it was tough, too. Lenny got it without the backward ass winning. Thanks to Mike, Lenny. Thanks to everyone that played. Andy, we'll get you next week. Thanks to this gentleman one more time. Before we let you go, there is nothing better to me when you're out in the day enjoying some golf than a Perdomo cigar.
Perdomo cigar. Doesn't that, you don't have to be in a golf course. You could be out in your backyard. You could be out on your boat. You could be just sitting in a lawn chair anywhere you want. Or you could be at Hialeah Racetrack looking out over the flamingos and light up a beautiful Perdomo cigar. And 305-627-6700, the number to call, as you see on there, www.perdomocigars.com, the website to go to. Because if you're going Saturday and Sunday, they're closed. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday, Sunday, go online. Any tobacconist worth their salt should have Perdomo cigars. So today, tomorrow, this weekend, or a gift for somebody, why not go to Perdomo Cigars? And this weekend, just enjoy life with a Perdomo cigar. And don't forget, get the Landlubbers tonight. I may make a special appearance. Who knows? Just to bring.
Come by. I think Mike Mayo may come. Mike Mayo may come too.
Yeah, I could. Maybe if I could bring the Chronics down, then that would be my goal.
I was gonna say Mayo brings the room down. You seem to bring the room up. Maybe it'll level it out. Gurg, we love you. Thank you so much.
Maybe next Wednesday if you need me. We'll work it out.
There you go. All right, yeah, we'll work something out. All right, Gurgs, thanks. That was this edition of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Coming up next, we will go to what we normally do on Wednesdays, but this man is a traveling bandit, as they say. So we've moved things a little bit to today. Defo will be back tomorrow, so it'll just be Segreto and I. So he'll actually get a word in edgewise. Good for him. Coming up next, this week's edition of Kicking It Old School with Tony Segreto. Again, we adore Texas Roadhouse and Catholic Health Services. Really have been with us from the beginning of that segment, and they ride every wave. They don't bat an eye. Wherever we are, they follow us, and we follow them. And as good as organizations that you can deal with is Texas Roadhouse and Catholic Health Services. And I mean, I don't trust us. It's Tony. I mean, obviously, you know, we've dealt with some interesting people. Tony only deals with the best, and Texas Roadhouse and Catholic Health Services definitely are that. So we will get Kicking It Old School with Tony Segreto next, right here, the Defo Show with Lubie. No Defo, but Tony Segreto on South Florida Live.
Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine foods served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. You know, since day one, Catholic Health Services has been part of Old School. And since we've started letting people know about them, it's changed their lives. You see, Catholic Health Services, while being recognized as one of the top places for stroke rehab in the country, it's also about a group of people who not just excel in what they do, from the doctors to the nurses to the therapist, on and on and on. It's how they do what they do every single day that separates them from the pack. They do it with a passion, unmatched, and the inclusion of family in every step of the process. Trust me when I tell you this. If you want the best, unmatched rehab with a special group of skilled, caring people, there is truly only one place, and that one place is Catholic Health Services.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
What we gonna do right here is go back, way back into time.
We are now kicking it old school with the one and only Tony Segreto. Brought to you by Catholic Health Services and Texas Roadhouse.
Tell me, doctor, where are we going this time?
There it is. Good morning. Welcome back, one and all.
Whoa, I actually get to talk today. Where's Defo?
Well, he is in it. He's at your neck. I guess it's not exactly your neck of the woods, but he's in the
Atlantic
Northeast.
City. They're going to get slammed with some weather today. Maybe. Yeah, we got a little bit of snow. Yeah, I just got back from New York last night. We were there. We all migrated to the city to surprise our daughter for her 21st birthday.
Nice. Happy
24th birthday. And it was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. It was 8 Central Park, hot chocolate, great Italian pastries. I mean, my goodness gracious me. It's detox. Couple days of food detox now.
Well, New York this time of year is great. Like it really
fantastic.
feels like
It's
Christmas.
It's
Like
fantastic.
and I'm doing the quotes because Christmas isn't for over a month, but it really the holiday spirit, as much as New York can be tough and people don't care and this and that. When you're there at this time of year, we were there last year around this time, and it was really fun. And like it's colder, you get some snow times, and people are in actually like
they are, and the energy's there. You know, we walked by. We my daughter and I needed to go back home for a minute, so we walked by, went to 30 Rock and took Roseanne, and they're just the tree had just arrived at Rockefeller Center, so the scaffolding was all around it. They were putting the star up. It was fantastic, and you know, just to get great family time for like 3 days was. There's nothing like it. Absolutely nothing like it. Especially when your children are older. You know, they're adults now, and they're both successful in their careers, and you have like just incredible conversations with them. So it was great. I got to tell you, my son and I went to this classic martini bar on Sunday night called Bemmelman's. For those of you from New York, I'm sure you've heard of it. And for those of you who haven't, I mean, it is truly a legendary, and it's named after the gentleman who did all the caricatures and all the drawings for the cartoon, for the books Madeline. And yeah,
wow.
and in fact, when he was doing the drawings, he actually stayed at the hotel at the Carlisle where Bemmelman's bar is. And in order for him to stay there, he drew. And they put those paintings up on the wall. You know, he did his drawings. So, and they're known for their martinis. I mean, they're just. I mean, literally, you look them up. They're legendary. Man, it was incredible. Here we are in the heart of the city on a Sunday night. You would have thought it was a holiday night. It was packed, jammed with people. It was incredible. It was just and then from there, just went and ate. So it was great. Everybody's excited about the Jets. Everybody's excited about the Giants. You know, they're hoping Aaron Judge signs. You know, the Rizzo thing happened while I was. They got Rizzo while I was there, so they signed him. So everybody was excited. But you know, make no mistake, that town. It doesn't matter when you're there, but they are just so into their sports, and it's great to see. Great to see. So.
Well, it is. I mean, it's something, and it's what I wanted to bring up with you as a guy who actually did play baseball into the minor leagues, and has a soft spot. You wear a Yankee hat each and every time when you join us. It's interesting because Sandy Alcantara is the Marlins' first Cy Young winner, and outside of Jim Sarney letting me know 2 days ago, because he's the guy that keeps us straight on this show. You would have known, like, we're down here where it's happening. And I get it, the Marlins are what the Marlins are. And I get it's very frustrating right now to be a Marlins fan. Jeter's gone, Mattingly's gone. Ang was a fun hire, but it really hasn't gone anywhere. They now add the first female / GM duo in North American professional sports, and Carolyn O'Connor. We'll see what she can do. But it's very interesting because you can go there, and we want to talk about this all the time, and they'll talk about in I guess what's in off season in March or in February, they'll be talking about the third string catcher, and we're winning the Cy Young. And I say I'm a Marlins fan. They're our franchise down here. I know you've become a pseudo Marlins fan, and it's their first Cy Young, and Alcantara was a monster, and it was against all odds because they were horrendous, and it literally the rumors of Mattingly being gone, and Jeter in the middle of the season steps down, and the dude somehow against all that wins a Cy Young, and you would know. You would have no idea.
Well, listen, Lucien Jeter was no big shake. I mean, that was a mistake from the beginning. I mean, there is no legacy of him leaving that behind, you know, and I think he finally began to realize that. But the Marlins they need a complete reset. They got to, like, you know how when your TV goes out or something, you know, you're looking for every issue as to what could possibly go wrong, and all you need to do is unplug it and then plug it back in again, right? It doesn't matter if it's just TV. It doesn't matter whatever it is, and that's what the Marlins need to do. They need to unplug and then replug back in. I mean, they're literally a non-entity in this community, and as far as I'm concerned.
And you're out and about too. You're out and about. You deal with a lot of people.
I mean,
like,
it's not
that's a
something
lot.
people talk about. Listen, people talk about the Panthers. They'll talk about high school baseball before they'll talk about the Marlins. They'll talk about the Hurricanes baseball, and rightfully so, because the Hurricane baseball is so entrenched in this community. But they just there's you mentioned the Marlins. I mean, look like your T-shirt today. It's like, oh wow, someone's wearing a Marlins shirt. Right?
Shirt,
Like you ever see people wearing Marlins shirts? Maybe you see a lot of young kids wearing the Marlins hats because they're pretty sharp, they're pretty cool. But other than that,
cool.
you know, they're a non-entity, which is very sad, which is very, very sad.
Yeah,
so the question is, how do you become one? Well, obviously to win. I mean, that's one of the does. You know, you win and people get all excited. But it has to go beyond that. There has to be something, whether it's marketing or whatever, that shows that this franchise wants to be involved in the community, wants to entrench itself in this community. They seem to have removed themselves because of where the stadium is, and no knock on where on the stadium. I think putting it where it is was wrong. We talked about that ad nauseum, but it's just. There's a disconnect. They could be the Utah Marlins. They could be the Wyoming Marlins. They could be the Wyoming Bisons. It doesn't matter. People just don't seem to care either way. And what a feather in Sandy's hat to be able to win this thing. I mean, to be a workhorse, to do the unthinkable in 2022, to finish as many games as he did, to go 7 innings in as many games as he did, to do it with a smile on his face and a spring in his step for a team that did not support him. My goodness gracious me. But what a fabulous recognition for this young man, and certainly well deserved.
Well, and that's the thing, is he's actually been a guy that they did re-sign, that they have kept, that they are going to build around, which is a positive. And he's been just great the last 3-4 years. And he's a guy that with no run support, with everything falling around, it didn't matter. And that's because the complete games is ridiculous. Like, the second guy is 3, but I guarantee that guy, most of his starts were 6 innings. Like, he had 6 complete games, but he could have had 14. Like, he went pretty much 7-8 innings. I don't know if he went a start with less than 7-8 innings, which in this day and age, if you get to 6, they're like,
well, that's the funny thing. Excuse me, that's the funny thing. When Defo and I were growing up and we listened and talked at old school, and you watched your favorite team, it was the Yankees, and I mean, it was unheard of for Whitey Ford to be pulled out before the 9th, for Bob Turley to be pulled out before the 9th. The great pitchers, Bob Gibson, to be pulled out before the 9th. Are you kidding me? These guys were workhorses. They worked 9 innings. There was no such thing as pitch count. They just kept throwing and throwing and throwing. And now, my goodness, you go 5.5 innings. During the World Series, if they got 5 innings out of a guy, they were thrilled. Are you kidding me right now? You're basically telling me that you're paying this pitcher what you're paying him to get 15 outs a game?
That's right. I think look, there's a lot more to get to, especially there's much brighter things in South Florida, so we will definitely get to that. But I just find it interesting because, like, we talk so much about the ruination of baseball outside of the major markets that have had baseball for 130 years, so they just follow it because they're used to it. Some of the newer markets pay attention, sort of, but it's not the same thing, and it's not just Miami. The Rays win, and they don't give a crap. I just find it interesting because it's not just the home run or bust mentality. To me, it's the pitchers duels was a big, like, this idea that, well, no runs is boring. That's not actually true. Because I remember growing up, and there's a reason it's called a pitcher's duel. Like, a pitcher's duel was a big freaking deal. If you knew you were going to get, when we had Kevin Brown versus Greg Maddux, like, that was a big deal. You weren't expecting 10-8. Like, it would be a palpable energy there. For 1-0. So that's a load of garbage to say that, we need runs. We need excitement. Mm-hmm. Excitement can come in many different forms.
Agreed.
But when a guy is rocking it, but they're going to take him out in the 5th, then who gives a crap? Like, who gives a crap how good an ace is if he's going 6 innings. Like, you take a guy in the World Series and he didn't even have 100 pitches yet.
I agree.
No hitter. Like, okay, like for guys like me, and Jim Sarney mocks me. Well, you're supposed to be around. I was Jim, but I'm a human. Like if you play with my emotions, eventually I tell you to go screw yourself.
Exactly.
Like, to me, I loved those. And I was a kid. I remember seeing Doc Gooden, and how old could I have been if Doc Gooden's pitching, not Yankee Doc Gooden, like at the end of his Mets era greatness. And it was a big deal to see him there.
Yeah.
And how much runs is Doc Gooden giving up? When I was a kid, geeked up for it. So it's lost a lot of, like, it's not even the stats. We always point, well, the stats don't matter. The stats mattered because of the moments that were created out of those stats, or the moments that created those stats. Those moments are gone. Like, if you're telling me the guy, maybe Ricky Henderson, will he steal? Won't he? Chuck Carr, God rest his soul, was great with that. Like,
we would tune in during Ricky Henderson, like him or dislike him. We would tune in just to see how many bases he was going to steal.
Yes,
how exciting he was to watch. And I think part of these newer franchises problems, and again, I'm just, I may be talking out of my butt, but we got to win the young kids over. We got to get young kids back into this game. Little leagues are falling by the wayside.
Yep.
And listen, we saw on the front page of the Sun Sentinel today. And one of the reasons, I did this whole thing on youth athletics, and I still have my website on, trying to empower young people to play without parents interfering. It's when I coached a young softball team, my assistant coach and I said, we're going to recruit the families more than we are the girls.
That's what I do.
Because it's so dog eat dog. It's remarkable how the parents act, and we need to get more and more young people involved in this game so they can get excited about their team. We have to have a whole youth day and bring them out and get them to wear the merchandise and get them to wear the hats and get them to ask their parents, please take me to a Marlins game. We need that. We really need that outreach to make it happen, because if not, these games are just going to fall by the wayside. I mean, is there a young kid that you don't see wearing a Heat uniform or a Dolphins uniform or a Hurricanes uniform? My goodness gracious me, there isn't. So I just think, in the meantime, I want to weigh in on something here. I was mentioning in the Sun Sentinel that parents are starting to, and kids are starting to bother, are posted on social media that their son isn't getting enough playing time.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, where did that come from? I saw something.
It's on social media, and I go, parents, if any of you parents are watching this, please stop it.
Parents, like Cristobal had to address it.
Come on. And what did Cristobal say? How perfect was it? He did it in the kindest way. If you don't like what we're doing, you can come pick your son up. Really. Honest to God. That's the end of it. If you don't like what we're doing, come pick him up. All right, we're done. And it's like, that's the reason that they're struggling, because they still have guys that don't want to buy in. They don't want to work that hard. They want to just throw their jocks and their cleats on the field and go, hey, here we go. It doesn't work that way. And, a lot of people are weighing in. Come on, this team shouldn't be 5-5, and it's growing pains, man. It's a whole learning culture. And what did we talk about the other day? What was Norvell's thing when he got to Florida State? You got to lose big.
Well,
the first thing you lose.
Always said you lose big, lose close, you win big. And
So and we're gonna see a turnaround. We'll see it happen. It's just not. You know what? We live in the world of instant gratification, and everybody wants it now. And they've seen some programs turned around right away, and some where the cupboard was left. Look at what Florida State. Look at what Jimbo did to Florida State.
He's doing
he left the cupboard bare.
He's doing it now.
Right, and then they make a coaching mistake.
Yeah, Taggart.
Right? Do they not? And now Norvell has to come in and clean everything up. And it's finally, the cupboard is finally getting almost clean, and look where they are. Listen, if they can win out and some of the teams in front of them fall, they can find themselves in a nice, decent bowl game, which is unheard of. And I'm hoping that Miami becomes bowl eligible. I mean, they have a huge one this week, and I want them to show up and compete. and they have a chance if they can just compete, they can have a chance to regain some people's trust in what's going on.
Well, though, but yeah, that's the thing, and that's what my issue for people that were like they cut ties with Taggart too early. It wasn't about when you come from a great program, it's hard to change expectations, and that was my problem when Bobby near the end was. It was like, so we're changing expectations with the same coach, nah. And I love Bobby. The pushing out Bobby thing I always thought was interesting because they gave him 8 years. Like 8 years isn't pushing out. Like they were going down for 8 years, and my thing was. And I was there when they started the slide. I was like, Bobby, you're the one that made us have these expectations. How are you going to get mad at us for having them? You gave us these expectations. You were the one that never settled. You were the one that had a run that will never be met. Even what Bama, Pete Carroll did does not compare to what Bowden did in duration of greatness. And now because it's you want us to go, it's okay. And I did for the first 4 or 5 years, but after 8 years, it's like, come on, man, like you're in your 70s. You can see that it's just a different thing. So to me, once you're in that expectation world, it's hard to take it back. But when it comes to new coaches, I have learned you have to have, but you still have to have some kind of set an expectation of some kind. And my problem with Taggart was I didn't care if they were winning 8 or 9 games. Like obviously Jimbo, as we were seeing with A&M, when Jimbo is done, Jimbo's done. He doesn't recruit. He doesn't coach. We're hearing the same stuff out of A&M that I couldn't believe the last 2 to 3 months at FSU. Like literally, he left before the season was over. Like that is just who he is. I'm not even judging it. Everyone's different. You do you. But when someone leaves that way, you can't even imagine. You couldn't even know just how bad the program was. My problem with Taggart was okay. So obviously they're not going to win 9 games, eight. But be better. You just said compete. Be better. Every game, look different. Don't make the same mistakes.
Exactly. Exactly.
First game to the last game versus UM, and it wasn't a great UM, and it was a first-year coach of Manny Diaz, who people weren't sure what he was going to be. They looked like garbage. They looked bad, and it was like, okay. And I like Taggart. I don't know if you remember, I defended the crap out of Taggart.
Yeah, you did.
But by that game, it's like, okay, so you want another year of this just because? Like, just because doesn't work in modern day. Sure, yeah. But Norvell, as to your point, no matter what the records was, you saw growth. You saw better offense, defense, special teams. So he, to me, earned this 3rd year that we're seeing now a team that's now, it's so funny because they're now, the Canes fans were talking all this crap. Now, see, we can be like FSU. I'm like, we can be like FSU. What the hell? Where did that come from? Like FSU is like an example of turning a program around. So
they are. And you know what? I have. And I know Defo wants to push back and kind of stir the pot, but I have all the faith. I have all the faith in Mario Cristobal, and his excitement and his selling the fans and the players on the program should not have been misinterpreted as if we're going to be ready to go for the national championship now.
That's what it was.
They misinterpreted that entire bit of excitement and that positive thinking. Like it was going to happen overnight. They're going to flip the switch and it's done. Yeah. Doesn't happen that way. It didn't happen that way. You know, they have battled through whether it was injuries or, you know, them learning how to play the game the proper way, breaking old habits. It's not easy. It just isn't easy. They'll have another full year under their belt with new, you know, with players coming in that'll understand the system, understand what's expected of them, you know, and a lot of these players aren't adjusting well. It's hard. Mario is a hard ass. Yes. He wants them, and good God bless him. Good for him. This program needs that and needs it now and needs it fast. And the players better adapt. Or parents, go pick up your boys.
Well, and that's the thing is, and it's not to talk ill of Taggart, but to me, when I see former FSU players like Jock Patrick, a bunch of different guys, Jackson, the linebacker who's now in the XFL, who was a high 4-star out of Texas going to FSU, and he was a disaster at FSU. When I see him going, man, if only I was there during Norvell, like it speaks highly of Norvell, but like you're saying this on Twitter, like Willie Taggart has Twitter, like you're openly saying those 2 years were a waste. It's like, oh, that sucks, you know, like, and that's sort of, I feel bad because Manny Diaz is a South Florida kid and an old. So I don't like talking bad about Manny Diaz, but I feel like that's sort of what people are saying about that era was. It wasn't a waste, but a lot got messed up. Like he was a young dude who didn't know what he was doing in a sense.
Well, yeah, listen,
And things sort of went awry. Is what it feels like.
We're spoiled right now watching a watching a McDaniel, right?
McDaniel, yeah, the first year guy who just has it all together.
He stepped into that head coach's role like it was made for him, like central casting. Pick out a head coach from the assistant coach pool, and they found one. Right. Yeah. So what a great hire. For as many mistakes as Miami has made, they bring a great guy in. How many times have we seen great assistant coaches not become good head coaches for various reasons, right? Yeah. Manny just, listen,
he's young.
Listen, that whole hiring of Manny was the swell of excitement over this defensive coordinator who was about to go to Temple.
Yep.
And sign a deal. Yep. And it was like, we don't want to lose him. We don't want to lose him. Who else is available? Let's bring him in. And then in retrospect, okay, yeah, maybe for whatever reason, it was the Band-Aid that the program needed before they bring in Mario. But trust me, Hurricane fans, I'm convinced that this will turn around and things will change. It's just going to take some time. Listen, this is a big game. How we show up against
Clemson, how you play. If you're going to lose, but you can't.
How we show up against Clemson's important. It really is important. I'm not talking about winning or losing. It's how we show up. It's critical. Absolutely.
And that's what I find interesting. Like. And it's funny you said that about the parents, because when I coach, and it's youth, and I get it's different than college, but the funny thing is my parents were more respectful than Mario's parents are. Like I had the speech with the parents before I talked to the kids, and I was like, look, this is a deal. Like I'm not worrying about winning and losing. They're 7. like let's be real. You're gonna hear me yelling. I'll never yell at them. That's not who I am, but my voice is weird. They can't hear me. So I will yell, go here, go there. The minute I'm with them, I will care about them like they're my own. I'm the one that's here to defend them. When they're on this court, they're mine. When they leave the court, they're yours. And just respect me. I will always take your info to heart, but understand, again, when they're in this court, they're my kids, and I will defend them like they're my own, but you have to let me do that. And we had me and the parents, and I'm a lunatic when I'm out there. But I'm never like, you suck. I don't understand that. It's just being loud. It's not yelling at them. It's just being loud. But the parents loved it. It was the weirdest thing. Like the parents were like all about it. They didn't ask for more, less. They stayed at. I'd want to play with their kids. They're like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, it's your kid. So, like I find it funny that college, my parents had no idea what I was doing in college. Why are they involved? These are men. You're 18 and up.
These are young men. These are young men. We should not be weighing in on, especially on social media. If you have a problem, call coach up. Say, listen, can you tell me what's going on? Is there something I can do to help? But to weigh in on social media is just it's cowardly, first of all. I'll tell you what, we could do an entire 4 hours on my experiences with youth athletics. 4 hours. 4 hours. I'll tell you one quick story.
Okay.
We got my daughter got to a 12 and under.
Okay.
Travel softball team.
Oh, travel's crazy.
She gets to practice 10 minutes late.
Oh God.
They make her run laps after practice because she was late. I go, Coach, the last I looked, you can't get a driver's license at 12.
So blame me.
So blame me.
Make me run.
I'll run. How can you penalize the girl if the parent has to drive them? That makes no sense. None whatsoever. Zero. You want to talk to the parent? You want to talk to the child together and say how important it is to be there? Fine. But don't just arbitrarily make them run laps because they were late. That's like bullshit. Pardon me.
But it's fine. It's welcome here.
We had a parent come out. We were at the 12 and under World Series at Walt Disney World.
Oh wow.
In the middle of a game, screaming at the coach because her daughter was playing a position she didn't think she should be playing. Like, are you kidding me right now? Your daughter's playing every inning of every game, and you're complaining because she's playing this position instead of that position? Honestly,
God, that's crazy.
Yeah. And you know what? What's interesting? I was talking to my daughter, and I were talking during her birthday celebration. there were all these players that she played with whose parents were like, they knew, they were convinced their daughters were going to get scholarships and go on to play, blah, blah, blah. And the only two girls left standing was my daughter and another girl whose parents never pushed them, never said a word. Those were the only two that were left standing. So, youth athletics with parents is way out of hand, and let them play, let them enjoy the game, and let them enjoy what it's like to be a teammate and be with people of different cultures, of different ethnicities, of different beliefs. And the reason you're all out there together is because you love the sport you're in, or whatever it is you decide to do. So let them enjoy it. Let them experience what it is to win, what it is to lose together. And then, and if they're good enough, they will definitely find their way.
Look, and that's my thing, is it's supposed to be fun. I always remind them, like, it's supposed to be fun. Like, I get frustrated and I hate losing as much as anyone, but in the end, they're supposed to want to do it again. The point is to get them to want to do it again, not to get them to be scared to death.
It's crazy. But listen, what did you think of college football last week? How great was that last week? And now we're getting down to the nitty gritty. And we at the Orange Bowl are excited because we're anticipating a really fantastic game. Just the way things are flushing out right now, and we still have some big weekends coming up, and it's going to be it's going to be fantastic. It really is.
Well, I'm stoked. I'm a little disappointed because I was hoping that there'd be a 4 different conferences represented in the playoffs, and right now, with an LSU at 6, a Tennessee at 5, and Georgia at 1, it feels like the same old story. Somehow 2 SEC teams are going to get in there.
Could be. It's sort of annoying. Well, it could be. I listen. I see the I don't think Georgia. I think Georgia, no matter what Georgia does,
no matter what, they get to that point, they're undefeated.
They're going to be in. But the Michigan Ohio State game is going to flush out.
Yeah.
Right. We got that happening. And
TCU's not going undefeated. It feels
what's
like
that?
the TCU is probably going undefeated. That's the hope, I guess, because
that's
be 3 SEC teams.
Have a different team in there. So now it comes down to what happens to that 4th slot. Is it going to be an SEC team? Is it going to be an ACC team? Is it going to be a Big 12 team? Could it be another Big 10 team? I mean, there's a whole lot of ways this could go, and a whole lot of other dominoes that could fall that could impact that. I think if you're within the first 13, you still have a shot at this. If you're in the top, other than that, I don't think, and a lot of teams have opportunities now to get into New Year's 6 bowls. Miami is trying to just get into a bowl now. They're trying to get bowl eligible. Florida State could find themselves in a New Year's 6 bowls if things fall certain ways. Can you imagine that?
Oh, yeah.
A lot's got to happen, but it's there. But the possibility's there. I just think we're going to see some interesting plays here before this is all over. There are a lot of components. We had our college football playoff Orange Bowl football committee meeting yesterday. The people who are on the football committee within the Orange Bowl, we have our meetings right after the rankings come out. And we spent 40 minutes just on possibilities and how it could play out. So I think it could be interesting.
Do you reach out, because you don't have anything to do with? Well, they do, right? Like, if the number 1 team from the conference, you get to pick, right? Like, so how does that work?
We will fall in a role, right? So it'll be picked for us in a way, but we will get, obviously, if the ACC champion is not in the playoffs, that's our team.
Okay.
And then we get the next highest, whether it's SEC, Big 10, Alabama, SEC, Big 10, Notre Dame, something like that. So, I mean, we could wind up with a great ACC. We could wind up with a Clemson Alabama game.
I know. You could actually get a really good
Can you
game.
imagine? We could wind up with a Clemson Alabama game. We could wind up with with so many different scenarios. But we're going to have a good game. We're going to have a really, really good game, and I'm excited. I'm excited for us and for everything all the hard work with the Orange Bowl.
Well, talking about a guy that is expecting a lot of good games, Ed, I guess, has been traveling, so there's no Ed with us this week. But his Michigan Wolverines are right in the thick of the playoff picture.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And we know Texas Roadhouse is always in the thick of any great restaurant's picture. And I haven't. It's been a while. I've been slacking on my Texas Roadhouse appearances. How have you been when it comes to, I know you're up there. Do they have Texas Roadhouse anywhere within where you are?
Yeah, they do. And I've been, the last one last one I was in was 3 or 4 weeks ago in Texas when I went to the one when I was at the Texas A&M game. And every time I go in, I get something different. And we keep talking about this over and over and over again. And again, people go, come on, this can't be that good. And we're saying we got to keep things real here. Okay. If you want a good meal at great prices with amazing service in a clean and fun atmosphere, your choices are limited.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you now, Texas Roadhouse is the one you have to look at. If you've never been there, do me a favor, just go. How many times have you gone somewhere where you've been shocked and surprised, or shocked and surprised where you go, this was awful? How many times have you gone to this place that everybody says is 5 stars that's going to cost you $50, $80, $100 for one meal, right? And you go, was that worth it? Let me tell you, you go to Texas Roadhouse, you find yourself loved by your servers. The way they serve you is remarkable. Your food's hot, coldest beer in town, great drinks. Prices are off the hook.
Yeah, now
amazing.
It's really...
I mean, it's amazing. You know, you can't get a better meal for that price, and the steaks are hand cut. And whether it's the steaks or the ribs or the sweet potatoes or whatever the case might be, listen, this is the total package. This isn't just great food with poor service. This isn't just great service with mediocre food. Nope. This isn't just, all the whistles and bells and they bring the martinis out to you and light them or whatever the heck they're going to do, smoke them, whatever. This is about giving you good, just great food, great drinks, and you walk out feeling satisfied with the doggy. Listen, Lubie's the king of doggy bags. I've had salmon there that's been remarkable. I've had steak that's been remarkable. The ribs fall off the bone, amazing. The hamburgers, absolutely incredible. The fries, the sweet potatoes, and need I say, when you go there, please don't talk about your low carb diet, because
you can get away with it, but why would you?
The bread. And you know what? Just keep telling them to bring baskets of bread to you, and they'll be more than happy to, with their honey cinnamon butter. In fact, after this show, I'm going back up to my house, and I'm going to leave my studio here, go up to the house, and I'm going to try to figure out how to make that honey cinnamon butter.
Good luck.
Specialty of Texas Roadhouse. All we're saying, folks, is give it a shot. We believe in it. We trust in it. We've never had a bad meal there. People are weighing in on Michael Mayo's.
I love it. Let's get South Florida. It's so funny.
And they keep saying how much they love it. They've never been, and they go and they're shocked and surprised. And your children, listen, this is the place you go. You can be by yourself and enjoy it. You can be with your date, enjoy it with your family, and enjoy it with your children and really enjoy it. So have a good time. Go enjoy Texas Roadhouse, especially as you get preparing for the holiday season. You don't want to cook as much. You want to eat out, because you're going to be cooking all day as we approach Thanksgiving. What are we doing next week, by the way? Are we doing the show on Wednesday? Yeah,
we'll do something on Wednesday. I mean, we're definitely doing shows Wednesday and Friday. We'll take Thursday off, obviously. So we'll make sure this happens, and we'll figure out something with the trivia challenge. But my thing is, it's funny you brought up Let's See South Florida, like Mayo's group, and it's like the dreaded term franchise. You hear franchise, and
Mayo's. I get why Michael would say
he's not against with Roadhouse. I'm just saying, like, when in general, when you hear that term, you think watered down, systematic, sterile. What's so funny is Texas Roadhouse, for a quote-unquote franchise, is not treated like that. Every time it's brought up, they talk about it with the highest esteem.
Well, it's owner-operated. Let me tell you a story. I'll tell you a quick story. Right down the street from where we were staying in New York was this French bakery.
Okay.
And incredible. They had, that boxed cake that you see in the holidays? It's called panettone.
I was going to say panettone. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they had, how could you not love panettones? So, and they had panettone muffins, and they had amazing they had pumpkin muffins, they had croissants of all different kinds. So I meet the manager, and I'm talking to him, and I said, your baked goods are remarkable, absolutely remarkable. I said, do you make them here? He goes, you know what? We have 4 locations in the city, and we have one spot where we make them all.
Oh, wow.
And I thought to myself, they're awesome. And I went back every day and I brought them to people, some friends of mine. Absolutely wonderful. But that's the difference. At Texas Roadhouse, their stuff is made at that restaurant.
Yeah.
Everything is made at that restaurant. Their bread is made at that restaurant. It's not brought in from a bakery somewhere else. The salad dressings made at that restaurant. Everything made at that restaurant, no matter what restaurant you go to. And that's what makes it special. It's not like a regular franchise restaurant.
No, it's not. It's you get the service of franchise because that makes it a lot more.
What's your
efficient.
favorite? What did you say your favorite was there?
Well, I usually get the. It's funny. Ed talked about the bone and ribeye is the best, and then the near strip salad. But I'm not gonna lie, I do like the standard sirloin. I just go with the sirloin's good. I like the sirloin, and Shirley loves the salmon. And we never talk about it, but they have a smothered pork chop, which is
it's awesome, right? I never talk about it. Yeah, right. It's incredible. But I gotta tell you, I'll make you laugh, and I'll send you a photo when we do it. So we get the steaks sent in,
nice.
the frozen steak.
I haven't tried that.
Yeah. So my son is coming in for Christmas.
Nice.
Tomorrow he's coming in Saturday. So our daughter, because of Sunday Night Football, we're gonna have to do Christmas by phone and by Facebook, by FaceTime and all of that this year. But regardless of that, those steaks, my son loves steaks as we all do, and we're going to thaw them out, and he's going to demand. I can tell you this because he did last Christmas. Demand we barbecue them. Well,
in the snow in Vermont.
Yesterday we had our first snow. We're gonna have some more snow tonight, more snow tomorrow. So I will send you photos before Thanksgiving of him barbecuing steak in the snow. So
Wait, you join him? Okay, is it just him by himself?
Of course I join him. Are you kidding me? I supply the bourbon. Keep us warm. Are you kidding me? Hey, I'm going to tell you. Listen, thank you, Texas Roadhouse. I want to tell you a quick story, real quick.
Yeah.
I may have shared this with you. For those of you who are longtime Dolphin fans, who are just historians of Dolphin fans, you'll remember the snowplow game. Everybody remembers the famous snowplow game. Okay, in New England, cold as ever. And the story goes like this. It's a true story. We get to the game. I mean, it was wicked, wicked cold. And the broadcasters for the Spanish radio for the Miami Dolphins, great guys, great friends, so good at what they did. They were the Sonny Hirsch of their time in the Spanish speaking world of radio broadcast. They find out that their booth is outside.
Oh, geez.
And these two guys, all they had were these little, I don't know if people will remember, but there were these jackets that were called members only jackets.
Yeah, obviously. Yes.
It was fake leather, and that's what they had.
Nothing.
So the owner of the Patriots found out that these poor guys had to be outside, and he sent them 2 liters of Jack Daniels.
Not codes.
By the end of the third quarter, I was told they could almost not be understood.
Jesus.
Because they were using the Jack to warm them up. So one of the great road stories of cold weather and bourbon. So we will not get that stupid, I promise you, but I will be keeping my son and I warm outside over the fire with nice bourbons and barbecue and steaks.
Well, at least it'll be Texas Roadhouse steak, so it'll be good.
Yes,
Coming up. Well, Tony sort of touched on it, but the team that right now has captivated all of South Florida. And if they haven't, they will soon enough. We'll talk a lot about the Miami Dolphins, maybe the Miami Heat a little bit, and a little. Of course, we'll touch on Catholic Health Services is kicking it old school with Tony Segreto here on the Defo Show.
I've never talked this much in this hour.
I know you're like I've never seen you actually drink the coffee. No Defo, just Lubie and Tony Segreto next, right here on South Florida Live.
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs unmatched. Steaks hand cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752.
We've finally found some fulfillment here on this program as we're sending 2 families to professional wrestling, and we had that kid skip school to get the tickets to the Dolphin game. We feel like we're reaching a measure of distinction here. Now, there's no more distinguished guy in South Florida broadcasting history than the man who joins us next, and that is Tony Segreto. We go old school with Tony Segreto.
He makes charitable work, his life work, so he's mocking us now for what we are proud of, our endeavor.
I am not mocking. I am not. I'm not mocking you. I just don't even know how to respond to that because I would not have expected anything less than that kind of intro today. When I heard that gentleman win the tickets to the wrestling and he's taking his children, I saw the wheels. I saw the comedy writer in Defo's head, like trying to write as fast as he could, just to figure out what's next.
I have to write everything down now, funny. Tony, because I can't remember my own name. It's written here on a sheet, the Defo show.
We are now kicking it old school with the one and only Tony Segreto.
All righty, welcome back here to the Defo show. No Defo, just Lubie and Tony Segreto here on Kicking It Old School Thursday. Thank you to Texas Roadhouse and Catholic Health Services. All right, we talked about some of the depressing points of South Florida sports. You sort of touched on it. The Miami Dolphins. It's funny, we've talked about them a lot.
Wow, you talk about it. You talk about a team that's generating excitement. Jimmy Sarney just asked if I would if I knew anything about the Dolphins being flexed to a Sunday night. And no, Jimmy, I didn't even know they had cinnamon butter candles. I don't know if I had cinnamon butter candles. I don't know about the Dolphins being flexed or not. They make that kind of decision in the middle of the week, but boy, there's so much excitement. I mean, every time you turn around and you know what? It's like the first couple of weeks you kept thinking, my goodness me, Tua is playing at this level that we've never seen. And how long can this last? Well, guess what? It's lasting. And he's
getting better.
Yeah, and he's getting better, and he seems to be thriving. And telling you, it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch. I have as much fun watching Tua and the team play now. I have as much fun watching McDaniel on the sideline. I love his demeanor. I love the way he does this. I really do. I applaud his approach. I applaud his sideline demeanor. When he talks to the officials, he does it in a calm way.
He's very calm.
But he does it in a way where it's like he's just going to nail him with his intelligence. You know, he's going to screw with them with his brain. And I just think it's been incredible to watch. It really has been. It's been.
Well, when it comes to him, it's funny. I've never even thought about that, but like I have remembered noticing certain things and remarking to myself, and you just jogged my memory. Like when coaches usually talk to players, they're usually talking at them. It's rare to see, not the position coaches or the system. I'm talking about the head coach. Because the head coach has so much going on. If he's going to take a second to talk to a specific player, he's talking at them. You know, it's funny. You see McDaniel a lot throughout the game. And it's other players too, but a lot of the time it's Tua, which is the funny thing compared to last regime. He'll just be like, they'll be looking at things, pointing, and they're conversing.
He's teaching. He's
so
always
different. It's just
he's
weird.
Always teaching.
you could see that he's teaching and he's explaining, and he's not getting in their face, and he's not making them feel like they're incompetent, and he's not, he's doing it in a way where they respond.
Yes, that's it.
What makes a good coach? A good coach. Listen, Jimmy's book is out, and I guarantee
you.
Hyde
on this week.
What's that?
We had Dave Hyde on this week, Tuesday, to talk about Swagger.
And I'm sure in that book of Swagger, he will tell you that it'll be said somewhere in that book that you need, as a coach, to be a good coach, you need to put your players in a position to win. What does that mean? You got to put them in a position to make the play. You can draw up the best play. I remember John Wooden saying, I could draw up the best play in the world for the last 3 seconds of the game, but if I don't have young men who can execute that play, it's a bad play, right? It's a bad play. And that's really kind of what it amounts to. So McDaniel has been able to put his players in a position to make plays, but knows his personnel, has taken the time to know his personnel on a personal level. And I don't mean that as any pun intended, but on a level where he knows how to coach them. What was one of Jimmy's sayings? You coach everybody the same, but differently.
Yeah.
What does that mean? That means there's a blanket rule and regulation for this team, but there are some guys who need a kick in the ass. There's some guys who need an arm around the shoulder. There are some guys who need to be taught. There's some guys who need to be screamed at. There's some guys who need visual learning. There's some guys who need, kind of a verbal tutorial. And McDaniel has found the magic. He's found those buttons to get these. Listen, think about Tua of the last couple of years. Think about what was people were questioning whether he could even get behind the center, for goodness sake.
They were talking about when he coming into this year, some people rated him behind, like the only quarterbacks he was ahead of was like Trevor Lawrence, who is a disaster right now. Like he literally was ranked like 27th. And he's in the MVP. He's firmly in the MVP conversation right now. Like he's one of the favorites for MVP right now.
Yeah, and rightfully so.
No,
and then he's complimented him with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and a running game that can sustain, help the passing game work. It's not a great running game. It's not it's a good running game. It's getting better every week, and he got a defense to match. The special teams is doing well. I mean, I think it's been a fun season to watch, and anticipation every week, expectations to win now. And I want to weigh in on something. We talk about the special teams. If you're a college football fan, and regardless of whether you like the team or dislike the team, if you don't applaud what they have done with special teams at Notre Dame University, then you're a fool. They have blocked 7 punts.
Jesus, really? They blocked
7 punts.
Oh, geez, I didn't know that.
Year. It's remarkable. Jimmy, again, I want to bring Jimmy Johnson back into this mix. He said there are 3 phases of this game, and not one is more or less. You need them all. And special teams is one of them. And everybody coaches talk about it, but they don't usually spend a whole lot of time coaching it. When Jimmy coached it, and Coach Shula did it before him, and I don't want to leave that one out, that they would spend as much time on special teams as they did every other aspect of the game. And I think that's so vital. And we're seeing Miami do that. It's been a great run and great fun to watch. It's just been. I'm happy. I'm happy for the franchise. I'm happy for the fans, especially for the fans that have stuck in there, not the new ones that have just jumped on board because we're winning.
Well, and what's interesting to me about all of it is the way that and it's funny, when I had OJ McDuffie on yesterday, and I was talking with Juice, and he's as big a Dolphin fan as there is, and like he actually goes to the games and doesn't do the boxing. He'll sit in the stands, and he's like literally fan guy. So it's always Defo always love talking to Juice. Not only is he a great dude, and we've had him on with you actually too, but his excitement is bursting, and now because I've been winning, I haven't had him on as much. It's so funny. I usually have him on to wake us up when the malaise is set in. So this year we haven't needed him, but I'm like, it's time to talk to Juice during the good times too. And talking to him, it's like the way he's taking it all in is very interesting. And listening to him about Mike McDaniel, it's so funny because you're right. It's a first-year coach, and so often assistants are supposed to just be assistants. They fail at head coaching, and it's okay. This guy, and he talked about it, and he's been waiting for this for his life, yet he's only in his late 30s. But like, it just feels like he was meant to do this. Now, again, I don't want to get ahead of myself. He has made some interesting calls when it comes to fourth and shorts. But what's funny is, as much as the fans and media lament about it, it seems to be giving this team a kind of confidence that it's almost like he doesn't care if they get it. Like, obviously, he wants to get to 4th and 1s, and he doesn't want to have the Lions game, the Bears game come down to the end. But it also is giving his team a belief in themselves and in him.
Yes.
That it almost doesn't matter if they get it.
Exactly.
It's becoming this team that they haven't been like that since freaking Shula and Marino.
You have to teach your team to respect itself, A, and you have to teach the team to have confidence in itself. And the way you do that is the way you coach during a game. And if it's 4th and 1, exactly. Listen, I have confidence in you guys. If you fail, we're going to keep doing it until you get it right. You know? And I believe you can do it. And if I can believe you can do it, you have to believe you can do it. And that's the kind of preaching and coaching he does. He has brought out the best that every player has to offer with his style of coaching them. He has responded. He has responded to them in a way that makes them respond to him, and makes them respond on the field. Okay. Yes. And he's teaching them also how to handle what I have liked is, regardless, and this is critical for a coach, you're going to have things happen in a game that are not going to go well for you. Yep. And you need to respond to that, and you need to forget that play, and you need to move forward. And he's been able to do that. How many times has this team fallen behind and then they come back to win, or they come back to score right there to match it? It's sort of like, okay, we don't care. We know we can do it. We know we have the power to do it. We know we have the ability to do it, and we believe we can do it. And that's the thing. They believe.
And Juice talked about that yesterday, and he was like, look, in the past, if this franchise got down in the game, you may have kept watching, but you had no hope. He's like,
none whatsoever. Why did people back in the 80s go watch Marino? Because they knew that we would always have a chance to win. All of a sudden, that same feeling is back. And how fun is that?
Yeah, he literally said, he's like, it feels strange, but it feels like the old days. Like when they're in a game, even when they're down, you're like, yeah, they'll be fine.
Yeah,
and they are.
and when you have a rabbit, like the guys we have on the outside, especially Tyreek. My goodness gracious me. I'm telling you, you got a guy who could pick him up and lay him down as good or better than anybody we've had in a long time. Listen, it's Duper all over it. It's Duper and Clayton all over again.
That's what it feels like.
It's just, that's what it feels like. It's just, it's that kind of feel. And let's just hope it continues.
I know. Well, that's the thing. I'm so scared to get excited because it's been so long.
It's okay. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment. And you know what? If we fall by the wayside, it's okay. We know what we can do. It's a building block. Yeah. It's a building block. This isn't.
Oh, this is your one.
These aren't charlatans here. This isn't a team of charlatans with a coach who's a charlatan. This is about people who care and people who are playing well. And wherever we wind up, wherever we land, there'll be improvement in the next year.
On that look, this is your one. They weren't. The expectation was, okay, we can make a playoff. Maybe they can be exciting. No, they actually. It looks like the word Super Bowl was mentioned. The term Super Bowl was mentioned, and people, the only crap Tua got was because he said it, but no one laughed at him because the way they're playing right now, they should have high expectations. One place that always has very high expectations, and they somehow meet and exceed them, is Catholic Health
every
Services.
day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We talk about this over and over again. It's called step and repeat, and that's what they do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's step and repeat. A remarkable group of passionate, experienced, well-educated, the top of their field, doctors, therapists, nurses, rehab facilities that treat people with the utmost respect, the finest care they could possibly get when it comes to rehab and getting back to their lives. They are known throughout the southeastern United States as being the #1 facility for stroke rehab, getting people back on their feet and back to a normal life, as normal as that life is going to be, depending on the severity of the stroke. Quicker than they could have ever imagined. But it's not just strokes. It's for every other kind of rehab, especially as you get older. It's a hip, it's a knee, it's arthritis, whatever the case might be. It's a shoulder. And when you're older, rehabbing becomes difficult. It's a different process. And how they make you feel during that rehab period is remarkable. And the results they get is even more amazing. And I use that with capital letters, because this is a team of people that comes together with the same mission every day to make you feel like you're the only patient they have, and make you feel like they are going to care for you in a way that you've never been cared for. And that's the way it is. And the families the entire way are kept in the loop, because no matter what happens, and I've said this over and over again, and we know this firsthand, all of these families, when something happens to one member of the family, it impacts the entire family, especially when that person comes home. What to expect? How do we help? How do we help them with occupational therapy? How do we help them with physical therapy? What do we need to know? What do we need to be aware of? So if this isn't the right thing, if this is abnormal, then we know what to do. We know how to handle it. We know how to, do we need to call you? So I think Catholic Health Services stands above the crowd because they do it every day the same way. And the accolades, like we talk about Texas Roadhouse, the accolades continue to pour in each and every day. They're involved in the community. They're here to answer your questions, especially now. Do we get a flu shot? Do we not? Do we do a COVID and a flu shot together? Do we get them separate? How much will this impact me? Do we really need the booster? What do we do? Do we still need to wear a mask? All of these things Catholic Health Services can answer. They're in the community. For those of you who have questions, call them, ask them. Say, listen, I heard Tony and Lubie on the air. They talk about Catholic Health Services. Can you guide me? What do I need? I need some guidance. I don't know where to go, what to do. And this is all about making sure you stay as healthy as you possibly can. So God forbid you do have a knee, a hip, or whatever the case might be. If you're in good physical shape before any of that happens, you'll bounce back quicker than ever, and they will surely make sure of that. So for those of you who need and need somewhere to go for this, there's only one place, and that's Catholic Health Services. We thank them for being with us.
We adore both Texas Roadhouse, Catholic Health Services. Thank them for their support, and we thank you, sir, for finding time each week to join us. We will do, as long as you're up for it, something next Wednesday, because that is our normal day. So
Absolutely.
Why not?
Wow, has this hour gone by already?
The hour has flown by.
We actually went on a little early, so we're finishing just like, wow, this has been wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So let me ask you before we go, have you turned your beautiful bride into a college sports fan yet? Into a Florida State fan yet?
We've gotten to the point where I at least watch the game on the big TV, and she's on her phone while we're in the same room. So I guess that's a win in some regard. She doesn't like sports at all, and she still makes fun of me when I incessantly watch them. I don't know what will happen. I don't know how whatever you have done, you can do a tutorial, because she doesn't care at all, and she still makes fun of me.
Well, I think I told you the story how my wife, when we got married, she was a I don't know if she was a fan. She didn't she liked sports, she just wasn't exposed to it that much. She would go to Tiger games with her dad and her brothers. But because of what I did and because of our relationship with the Dolphins, she became a Dolphin fan. But to become a college football fan, and I kept saying, and I was doing Hurricane games at the time. I said, "Come on, become a college football fan too." No, I can only handle one thing at a time. So it's our son's first year at Notre Dame, and he was a football manager. And I said to her, "Why don't you watch Notre Dame with me? It's before the Miami game, and maybe we'll see our son on the sideline." Well, that was the hook. And from that moment on, I created this college football fan. It's been fun. It's fun. We get to do it. We watch together. It's like this before I came up here to do the show today. She says, who's Miami playing this week? Who's Florida State playing this week? Who's Notre Dame playing this week? What time are the games? We got to plan our menu for the games, on. So she's into it for sure. And the Dolphins have kind of, fallen by the wayside for her. So it's fun. And it's fun to be involved, and it's fun to stay like that. So, it'll be another fun weekend for sure.
It's always fun to talk to you, sir. Enjoy your
Thank you.
weekend. Stay
Yes.
warm. We love you, and we will see you
Lubie,
next
thank
Wednesday, my
you.
friend.
You did a wonderful job as always, and I hope people understand how hard you work and how much we respect you and how well you do your job.
Well, it's appreciated. Be safe, please, and we will
Talk
talk
to you
soon.
soon. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone.
All right. And that is the one, the only, the great Tony Segreto. Coming up, check out our national podcast. We get out a little early on Thursdays because we have Brandon Lang, the handicapper, who is hot. 10-2-1 in the last 2 weeks. Gives you lots of plays, lots of reasoning, and he knows his stuff. So check that out. Believe.com, BLEAV.com. Search After Hours. Tomorrow we will have a Degenerate Friday. Thank you to Dave Gurggles Gergely. Congratulations to Lenny for winning. I think he's won 2 weeks in a row, so we got to change that. On the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Again, thank you to Tony Segreto for kicking it old school. And of course, obviously, thank you to Texas Roadhouse Catholic Health Services. Coming up at 12 o'clock, don't forget Mike Mayo's Lunchbox on an even keel Fish Shack Thursday. For the absent Defo, I am Mike Lubie Lubitz. We will see you tomorrow right here at 7 a.m. on the Defo Show with Defo and Lubie on South Florida Live.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.